Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to another Shamshir Sound video. My name is Ali Nadem. Today we're going to be talking about some more technical stuff. We're going to talk about how you can use this really cool technique to improve the power and the impact of your drop. So we're going to talk about how to use this technique during your buildup and how it can carve out some space to allow that drop to really have maximum impact. And there's multiple techniques I'm using in my buildup. So I'm just going to play back my buildup so you can get an idea. And then I'm going to explain this method inside of Pro-Q that I did. And you can do this inside of Pro-Q2, Pro-Q3, probably Pro-Q1 as well. And so let's just play this back. So if you notice there, during the last few bars, I'm just going to mute this. During the last few bars, now in this case, this is the synth called drop tease. So it's the synth that's playing back the melody of the drop. So I'm just going to solo this so we can hear this. This melody has a lot of modulation going on. Inside of Massive, it's going up in wetness, it's being high passed. The volume inside of Fruity Balance is also backing down a bit. You know, I'm reducing the volume. I want to make it that impact of the drop significant. And I've taken other steps too. Like I've also low passed my lead. I'm making it less powerful. You know, you should always make sure that your riser elements don't take away the energy from the drop, but they need some sort of energy to create a sustain, you know, because a riser with no sub, a riser with no synth just doesn't have power, and you need that power, but it's like a fine balance. So today the whole video is about how you can do some cool little technique with Pro-Q right near the end of the drop. Now I've done this too with Simplon, like a quick high pass right before the drop, but I want to show this because this is actually really more creative, because you guys can assign, and what I did, I'm using this knob here that says gain scale. Think of that as like your dry wet, and it goes from 0 to 100. And when we're at 100%, these minus 12 dB points that I put, like even if I put that point, right, it disengages it and engages it. It's like a dry wet knob, but it also goes up to 200% to give double the amount of scale. And so what I did was I actually assigned this, I attached that to an automation clip. So it's linked right now, Fabfilter Pro-Q2, snare roll, gain scale, and my riser elements like the snare, and I think I'm doing it to the sub as well. Let me show you guys the sub. But the whole point is that what I'm doing is that I saw Bassjackers talk about this, and to his credit, guys, check out his channel. He makes really good tutorials as well, and he uses FL Studio as well. But to his credit, he said that, you know, you got to be really careful as things are building up, because as they're pitching upwards, it is creating more high-end energy, of course. You know, we're moving up in pitch. We're going to have more high-end energy and less low-end energy. It's the nature of things. But because of that, be careful. The reason why I'm doing this is that I'm already doing the stuff I normally would do during a build-up, but this is like the cherry on top, because then I can be like, you know what? I want to create a point at 20,000 hertz, and you know, this I put G1 and I put like G9, the notes. I'm like, I want a little bit of a roll off to like just ensure there's a little bit less high-end crisp going into that drop around in that last few bars. And when you use this gain scale, you have complete control. It's not like just putting Fabfilter Simplon on or doing this or whatever. Like you have like a straight up dry wet knob, and we're doing it to the snare drum as well. Let me show you guys the snare roll. So the snare drum, I believe, is doing it right here. One of these guys is doing it. Is it this one? Now look at this one. This one's pretty significant. So this is the snare drum. Let's play back the snare drum. And, you know, it's right before the drop, but again, we're killing a little bit of those highs. We're killing a little bit of those lows, creating a bit more space, and do the stuff you guys normally do. Do your, you know, do your EQ, do your whatever, your dynamic EQ, do your endless smile, whatever it is you want to do to create that riser, you know, fading into the abyss and slamming that impact. But the whole point of this and using this is that it will allow you guys to really ensure that that high end is not combating with the drop elements, because the stuff around this high end can be very powerful and very audible and take away from the impact of the drop. So what I mean is that even if the buildup doesn't have a lot of bass frequency, let's take a look at the Voxengo span. Even if the buildup doesn't have a lot of bass frequency, just going to mute that boy there, we can see that there is going to be a lot of high-end energy, right? So we're looking here like this high-end energy, and doing this Fabfilter Pro-Q technique will just help you guys like just kind of fine polish that, because as we're building up here, we can see like, you know, I don't want to get that out of control, because then when the drop actually hits, yeah, we have more bass frequency. But imagine if this was hitting like -24 and then the drop has like much lower high-end energy, you know, it's a very big difference, and the listener will be kind of really overwhelmed, like, whoa, why was there so much high-end hiss, and then the drop has a lot more less high-end. So I attached the Pro-Q gain scale to this guy as well, so it's automating this and doing it a whole different EQ. In this case, I moved it down less and I moved this one up. And again, that one's doing that nice little roll off there. You can see right as it goes towards the drop. And I did the same thing also for, I think, the sub, because the sub is going up in pitch and the sub doesn't have a lot of high-end energy. But if we go to the sub right here, sub riser, check this out. You see that? Ooh, we're squeezing out a little bit of those high end. And all these small things, guys, the pros, they do a lot of automation. They do a lot of, and you might not see it in the form of automation clip, but they do a lot of movement and transitions are very difficult. So I really had to calm down this synth that I made, because the synth that I made, I was really happy with it, but I realized, wait a second, I need to, don't get so greedy and attached to your build-up synth, because what you use in the build-up shouldn't be more powerful than the actual drop. Let the drop be the king and curve out some space. And the whole idea is that this technique will allow you to do some sick stuff. So let me show you it in action. Say, for instance, you wanted to do it on this sub riser, right? So let's go ahead and solo this sub riser. So let's say you want to do it on that, and it's very easy. Go ahead and throw on something like Pro-Q. We're going to attach this gain scale. That's what you want to automate. In this case, I'm going to automate it, and I'm going to attach it to the existing one. So go ahead and find it. There we go, Pro-Q2 snare roll gain scale. We accept that, and now we get to decide what we want to do. So it might look a little bit off-putting because the point you make is not doing anything. So for now, let me just put that at 100%. And let's say I said, you know what, I want to kill the lows. I'm gonna do like a low shelf where I go like this. Maybe I want to do like -12 dB here, and then I want to go right here and I want to do like a high shelf. Now you could do high cut, but I would recommend the shelf. It's going to be a bit more natural. And I'm going to do something like this. You know, whatever. I'm going to do something like this. It's a bit more like gentle. You're like, this is crazy. Whatever. Whatever. I'm going to do something like that. 4,000. Okay. So maybe we want to get to that point. And now that we've automated that, so you can see we curved out space, carved, whatever you want to say. We made some space for the drop. And this was so cool. Like, I just stumbled upon doing this, and I think you guys should definitely take advantage of something like this. And I think you guys are going to like doing this, especially for your buildups and stuff. You know, having one automation clip, but then those EQs acting differently. So let me know what you guys think about this technique. I think it's really dope. So that way you have something that is not engaged just with a transparent EQ. It's on in this case, but then it just engages when the automation clip starts building. So I hope you guys like this. Definitely take advantage of this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. You hit that notification bell, give it a smack, because I'm giving away a juicy sample pack at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for being subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.